We're going to get a start.
Okay, we're on live now?
Yeah, not live, but we're recording.
Okay, all right, sounds good. All right, my name is Jim Bray. I'm the chair of the Lower Makefield Township Environmental Advisory Council, and I'm officially opening the meeting for July 11th, 2024. The first item on the agenda is review approval of June 13th, 2024 meeting minutes. I believe everybody has received a copy of those, and unless there's any comments, changes, or additions, I will admit a motion to approve the minutes. Does anybody have any issue with the minutes as written?
No.
All right, then I will entertain a motion to approve. Do I have that from somebody?
I approve.
All right, we need a second.
Well, second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Soumya, are you with us again or not? Soumya?
I wasn't present last time.
Okay, we just approved the minutes, Soumya. I assume you will approve along with the others. You went dead for a while.
Yeah,
But she
I know.
wasn't there.
Just got I got a note saying my connection was unstable.
Okay. All right. The next item on the agenda is the 2024 Long Range Master Tree Plan. Recently, I just talked to Township Manager Dave Kratzer, and we were hoping it was going to be on the next BOS meeting agenda. However, Dave said that that meeting agenda is pretty full right now. So current plans are to put it on the 8/7/24 agenda. Now, Alan and I have been working with Jim Majewski, Tom Komita Associates, who actually prepared the 2024 initial plan for almost a year now. And we've reviewed the plan as it stands right now, and I think it's a very good plan. And I think that all of you have received a copy about a week ago of the basic plan. And we'll certainly open the meeting for any comments or discussion on the plan. However, I think it's an excellent plan, and I think we should approve it tonight. The Board of Supervisors can actually approve the plan without our approval, but in the past they have relied heavily on our judgment, and we have also made significant changes to the plan as originally written. So do we have any questions from any people on the board, or we have somebody in the audience with us tonight as well?
I have a comment.
All right.
Yeah, it concerns that issue we discussed with Jim Majewski, the footnote concerning reserve trees and shrubs for the basins. We asked that that statement be truncated so it just says these will be available when the basins are retrofit and not require a pollution reduction project as part of the MS4 permit that we have with the state, because that will limit the number of basins that get these reserve trees. We want to make it more generalized, not so specific. And he agreed.
Yeah, Jim agreed, and that's going to be incorporated into the plan.
Okay, yeah, we just want to make sure it does. You know how the things sometimes...
Well, before the meeting on 8/7/24, I will probably have had a couple of meetings with Jim, and I will make certain that it is in there, because he already agreed to it.
Exactly.
So that being said, I will entertain a motion to approve the 2024 tree plan. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the tree plan.
I
All right.
second it.
Paul seconds. All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Yes, you can vote. You can always, you are right now,
Official
this is
member.
just a question of protocol. Dominique is relatively new to the board, and she is an alternate member. But alternate members have full voting privileges if we don't have all in attendance at the meeting. So, Dominique, do we have your vote as well? Okay, thank you very much. All right. Next item on the agenda is recycling, a possible fall collection date of December 28th. Also, Soumya, and especially her daughter, has done some really first-class work as far as recycling pill bottles is concerned. And firstly, the date is September 28th. I think we were all in agreement with that for the Styrofoam collection. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That's-
And then second, I'm sorry.
That's the date.
Okay.
No
And
more
s-
question.
All right, and secondly, Soumya, would you like to give us a little description of what your daughter has been doing mostly, and I know you were involved as well?
Yeah, so I think it's been a small initiative which has snowballed with interesting consequences. In magnitude, it may not be significant yet, but I think it's to do with change in perception, behavior, and how other people have been motivated to do the same thing. So I had started this initiative to collect the plastic pill bottles and donated to an organization in Cincinnati which actually mails them to developing countries to be reused as pill bottles, as part of their medical supply shipments. So initially, in the beginning, it was like a trial and error thing. So there was a collection of bottles which were all dirty, and a lot of work, some work had to be done to clean them, remove the labels so that they appear as new medical supplies. So I was doing that at home, and my daughter sort of helped me with it. And then when she went to high school, she asked if she could do this as a club activity, because a lot of clubs do volunteering events. So she did it with the environmental club first. So it turned out that kids like to come together, they're doing some hard work, scrubbing the bottles, but it's a social occasion, so that they actually turn up for it. So the next year, it became more popular in the Key Club, where she had several, more than one, events more regularly through the year rather than a standoff one. And last year, she was actually, it was continued with the Key Club. And last year, she was approached by the officers of the UNICEF saying that could she host it at their club as well. So, so in a way, it's I think, interesting that kids are first enjoying it and also recognizing that it is possible to reuse these plastic bottles, which are otherwise supposedly recycled. But honestly, I have tried to go through the recycling cycle for LMT itself, for pill bottles, and I came up to a dead end as to what really happens to them. Do they actually get recycled, or do they all, eventually do the recyclers send them to landfills? The other thing that happened in the school was that the teachers of the Key Club, they themselves have initiated every newsletter, Friday newsletter that we get from the high school says, asks for people the school kids and teachers to collect pill bottles and donate for this purpose. So they've organized an ongoing collection, which my daughter didn't even know about it till I said, what's this going on? I see this in the newsletter. So then she contacted the teacher. So they had sort of been encouraging her, and then they themselves got inspired to continue the activity. So to date, I think LMT has mailed approximately 2,500 pill bottles to.
Excuse me, you say 2,500?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I still have plenty more in my garage, which need to be cleaned up. So these bottles have come not just from LMT, but I typically post these the recycling notices in other Facebook groups which are county-wide. So I think I have a feeling there's been a ripple effect, and that's why we've got so much of collection, sort of behind in cleaning them and packaging them. So I think it's the message is gone through to the kids and to the teachers, and you know, in the larger perspective, 2,500 pill bottles doesn't sound much, but it is significant, you know, considering that each time they do about 200, 250 pill bottles at each event that they get together. So a small stone, you know, a small drop in the ocean, I could say, in a good way.
All right, well, look, thank you very much for that statement. I wonder if you could write up a little article on that, okay?
Sure.
And then send it to me, and I'm going to share it, you know, with a lot of other people. I think when we get young people like, you know, your daughter and her classmates involved in projects like this, it, you know, it forebodes a good future for them too. And of course, you know, we're a little biased because we're an environmental council, but, you know, our premise here is pretty simple. If you think a healthy environment fosters all life forms, which we do, then you have to give priority, the highest priority, to environmental projects. And you know, you might say this is small, but it's not all that small. It's a step, a very, very positive step. And you get a lot of these positive steps together, and then we make change. So
Yeah,
again, your daughter should be commended for her hard work, and you as well, Soumya. And I will look forward to a nice article that you're going to send me.
Sure, thank you. I'll get in touch with you separately on you know, what you will, what should be the key bullet points for the article, like the storyline things. I'll contact you separately for that.
Okay. All right. The next item on the agenda is Birdtown Environmental Advisory Council past and upcoming events. And Jeanne, do you have some information for us?
We don't have anything other than October 5th, our second Falconry event. So that's the only thing that's on the calendar right now, but I'm looking at a couple of other things. There's some people who make or a woman who teaches you how to make birds out of paper mache. And I think that looks very interesting, so I'm pursuing that. And I'm hoping that at some point we can do some tree kind of festival or event when it's approved and ready to go. I think that would be a fun project. So that's it for now.
All right.
Yeah, I have a comment.
Sure.
Yeah, if you're pursuing Tree City USA, then declaring or celebrating an Arboretum Day is one of the prerequisites, qualifiers to get certified.
Well, Tree City USA, we're going to be talking about that on the agenda tonight, and I've already talked briefly to Dave Kratzer, the township manager, about Tree City USA. You've done the initial legwork on that, Soumya, and by the way, that was a good job. And then we decided that Tree City was the poster child, and we're going to move forward with that. And not the problem, but they will not be taking any new applications till September 1st. So we plan, I'll be talking to Dave. I already talked to Dave about that. I've looked at the qualification. Well, okay, maybe we can talk about Tree City while we're here as well and get that done. I talked to Dave Kratzer about that. As a matter of fact, when I first met Dave about over a year ago, he had said something about, with all the incredible tree planting that Lower Makefield has done over the years, he was surprised we weren't part of Tree City USA. And quite frankly, that was something just under the radar for us. We just never really thought it. We're so busy doing stuff that you don't really take advantage of programs like this that are really great publicity for the township, like we did recently for Birdtown too. So hopefully in the near future, we'll have signs up for Tree City USA as well. Tree City USA actually has 4 parameters, and mostly it's apportioning a certain amount of your budget for trees, which we don't have any problem with, a maintenance group to take care of trees, and I think there was one other item, and we've met those 3. The only parameter we haven't met is the fact that we don't have an Arbor Day celebration. And that's really a no-brainer because what we foresee in the future is Chairman Lewis, along with Township Manager Kratzer, every Arbor Day we issue a proclamation. And I think at a prior meeting, I might have even suggested something in addition to that, which I think is a good idea, and I'm going to be running by Dave very shortly. And that's to have a tree planting every single Arbor Day at a prominent place in Lower Makefield Township on public property. And what we would do is we would appoint a class from the Pennsbury system to be involved in the tree planting. And what we would do is check with the principal and the various guidance counselors and say, hey, is there one particular class that has outshone the others as far as maybe environmental projects are concerned? And then we'll have a tree planting with a little ceremony and maybe even a little plaque for that tree that's planted. So that's just speculation at this point, but I'm going to be talking to Dave about it. And the people I've talked to so far think it's a pretty good idea. All right, the Town-EAC, we're finished with that. The next item is the proposed single-use plastic ban. Now, I think all of you have just received an email from Chairman Lewis earlier in the day, and quite frankly, it's disappointing. What basically John is saying, and I'll read part of the email to me, I appreciate your tenacity around this issue. My concern is that I don't believe we have 3 votes for this yet, and I believe we need to focus on completing the open space referendum and the stormwater management ordinance first. And I will also add to that too the master tree plan, which should be approved at the 8/7/24 meeting. So this is far from the death of this. It's just basically moving it to later in the year, I think to the end of the summer or the fall. So I think what the next step on this, as far as I'm concerned as chairman, I have a long-term relationship with Chairman Lewis, and I'm going to be calling him soon. Also about another issue as well. I also want to talk to him about Tree City USA. And then I'm also going to be calling Supervisor Suzanne Bldg and Supervisor Matt Ross and probably Supervisor James McCartney as well, just to see where they stand on the issue. And then as soon as I have that information, I will be reporting back to the EAC on the very next meeting. Again, it's disappointing, but we also work on several things right now, and stormwater management is a real priority item in the municipalities anymore, and we have to get that right, and we have to get that done. And of course, a lot of the impetus from that came from that tragic incident of over a year ago in Upper Makefield Township, where several people were drowned in a flash flood. So, do we have any comments on the single-use plastic ban ordinance? Alan?
Yeah, I do. Jim, we should let the supervisors know this meeting we're trying to have with Penn Environment and with the Newtown supervisor, Ellen, is to give them information on the issue so they can make a judgment on it. I mean, he says he doesn't know if he has 3 votes. We don't need 3 votes for this meeting. This meeting is just to provide information and educate them on the issue. And then after that, then whether we have 3 votes or not, will matter a lot more.
All right, that's one of the items then I will discuss, with John. Yeah, and that's certainly a good point. I know right now from what Dave said and from what John said, the next two meetings are pretty filled with items that they consider high priority right now. But I'll be talking to John within the next couple of days, and I'll report back at the next meeting, or probably what I'll even do is send out some emails to the EAC members after I have something definitive from either John or Suzanne or Matt Ross. So that's a good point, Alan.
That was my thinking too, that part of the presentation was to educate the Board of Supervisors, and therefore people who might not be agreeable to start with might be convinced that it's a good idea. So why not do it now?
Yeah, well, I know though that in talking to Dave too, the next two meetings are pretty full. And to be honest, this presentation for the SUPB ordinance is going to take at least a half hour, maybe 45 minutes when we have a presentation from Penn Environment, and then we have Ellen Snyder, who is a real advocate of SUPB, who is a supervisor from Newtown Township. So I think next step, I will talk to John and see where we go from here. Personally, I'm disappointed because I've always been results oriented, and I like getting stuff done quickly, but sometimes that just doesn't happen. All right, do we have any other comments on the SUPB order? All right, if not, we will move on to the next item on the agenda. Update on land use plans. Alan, what do you have for us?
Yeah, there's only one project that had an update, and that's the Wright Farm. That's, across I-295 from the Tolbert Farm. The original plan had 47 homes with a basic layout, very unimaginative. And the revised preliminary plan is almost exactly the same. So no real changes. And there's no date to submit comments yet. I'll contact Jim Majewski and find out. But reading their response to some of the comments made on the initial version of the project, I think I have a better understanding of it. So I'll be putting together some draft comments that I'll send out to everybody probably in 2 or 3 weeks to take a look at. So that's something very exciting you have to look forward to.
Yeah. Well, I think that's exciting with a small e, okay? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Do people know how to see these plans? Because it's fairly easy. Just go to the LMT website and go to the Planning Commission, and then they have various projects under review, and you can just click on that and you go right to all the submittals for the project and the comment letters and all that, so you can get up to speed if you're interested.
Yeah, personally, what I hope the final plans depict is an intensely heavy border buffer along Yardley, I guess that's Yardley Langhorne Road? Or Yardley Newtown Road, I forget, I always get the two roads mixed up.
Yeah, they've done something pretty sneaky, because you do have to put what's called a type 2 buffer, which is a significant buffer. It's like 50 feet wide, has all sorts of trees and shrubs. You have to do that when the backyards of the houses back up to the house, or to the road, to that Newtown Yardley Road. But the way they've designed it is that open space is in between, so they don't have to put in that type 2 buffer, because the backyards are on that open space, or adjacent to the open space. And the open space is not that wide. It's And that's an issue we're gonna have with the dimensions of the open space. It's only a couple, maybe 150 feet wide, so that's not gonna help those houses much. And they don't wanna put any buffer, any sort of trees or plants in that open space because they say it might be farmed. But the Farmland Preservation Commission said they can't envision farming on such small parcels of land, so that's a bogus argument. So we'll point that out in our comments.
Yeah, I mean, I feel strongly about that because, firstly, the open space I don't think should be in that area. It should be somewhere else. And what's the big deal for the developer on this too? I think it would be to their advantage because no one wants to see the back of trees. So if you have a significant buffer along there, there's much better places, I think, to place the open space on the property than there. That to me just seems kind of like a dodge for the developer so that they don't have to put in a type 2 buffer, which is going to be more expensive. But I'm sure we're going to make some significant comments as far as that's concerned. And thank you for the initial work you've done on this, Alan. Good job as usual.
Yep, well, it's just started. A long road.
All right, does anybody else have any comments on the updated land use plans? Okay, if not, we'll move on to the next item, which is the EAC lecture and event series. Now, Jeanne has already touched on that earlier. The only thing that we actually have scheduled right now is the second Falconry Exhibition in 10/5/24. And again, the first one was incredibly popular. And in talking with manager Kratzer afterwards, he said that he had actually received calls from several people wondering if they were going to hold something similar again because for one reason or another they weren't able to attend. And the first one, actually, we had over 110 people in attendance, so it was a very, very popular event. In the meantime, as far as EAC lectures and events are concerned, I have a couple in mind that we might collaborate with the Newtown Theater. However, the theater is undergoing a renovation right now, and I think that's going to be taking at least a couple of months. So in the near future, I'm going to be talking with the manager, Andy Smith, to see what their plans are and to see if they would be receptive to some other collaborative events with the EAC.
Just one question.
Sure.
On October 5th, where is the location for the Falconry exhibition?
All right, it's going to be the same place as before, Paul.
Okay.
And, you know, you can, of course, you know, put that information in an upcoming newsletter. And that's on the agenda down just a couple of steps.
Great.
Any other comments? All right, if not, we'll move into the next item, which is Tree City USA, and we already took care of that.
Yeah, Jim, just a side note, Kevin is trying to get in, but I think probably there's nobody to let him in.
Who?
Kevin?
Kevin,
Our other member.
Oh, yeah, Nick, is it possible for you to help Kevin? He's one of our members, Kevin Galen. Or are you? All right, hold on. Nick is the technician who's handling this meeting, and he's going to, we'll pause just briefly to see if he can get Kevin into the meeting.
there's this picture.
There he is.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
All right.
it took a long time. I don't know what happened.
All right, can you hear us, Kevin?
Yes, I can.
Okay, all right, good, good. Well, this is appropriate because you were on the next agenda item. It's the model energy ordinance. Now, you were to have sent a report, draft report to the EAC members before the meeting, and then that report was to be sent to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission has asked us several months ago to comment on this. So do you have something for us, Kevin?
I don't. I was hoping to get it done before I went on vacation last month, but I didn't get to it. But I'll make a push to get it done this weekend, so I don't forget about it.
All right, as soon as you get that, if you could forward that to us, or, me initially, and then I will, share it with the rest of the board members, okay?
Okay.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Any other comments on this model energy ordinance? All right.
None for me.
Okay, if not, we'll move on to the next item. Open space recommendations and ballot referendum. Alan, you want to talk about this item for a little while?
Well, the supervisors are going to have a vote at some point on whether to place it on the November 5th ballot. And they have to do it by September, vote to approve doing this. Do you have any idea when it's going to be on the supervisor agenda, Jim?
Well, that's one of the things I'm going to talk to, John about. I thought conceivably it could be on this upcoming one. This upcoming agenda will be printed tomorrow, Friday, for the meeting on the 17th. So I don't know whether it's going to be on there or not, but this is another item I want to talk to John about as well.
Okay.
I think on an overall basis, the supervisors are going to approve this, but there's some nitpick going on about the specific language in the as far as the referendum is concerned. And that hinges upon the definition of structures, whether open space funds can be used to purchase or build any structures. And there was some discussion between the board members regarding that topic, and I don't think the issue has really been resolved. And that's something, Alan, that I'll be talking to you about as well shortly, because I'm not sure I've been privy to the initial wording that they're talking about putting on the November ballot. That was, I think, almost the same as the last open space referendum. But as I said, some of the supervisors are having some issues with that language. So if you wouldn't mind, Alan, send it out to everybody on the EAC, and we would appreciate, any recommendations from the members, and I'll take a look at it and see if maybe there's some modification to the language on the proposed referendum that would be amenable to everybody.
So you want me to send out the language that was in the 2008 referendum, which they're using as a starting point on this one?
Yeah, and now,
Okay.
do we have any verbiage at all on the current one as well, what they're thinking about? I thought they had some initial verbiage on that.
And it's just like the 2008 one, so.
Oh, so it's the same. If it's the same, that's fine.
I'll send that one out. I'll send it to
Okay.
everybody. Yeah, and hopefully, if they can do it August 7th, that's good too, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, August 7th gives us plenty of time, but I start getting itchy, when it gets close to the drop dead date on these things. I like to have them done before.
And two other issues raised at their meeting, I don't know when it was, in June. There was an argument that if we preserve open space, we're gonna lose tax base, that the township and the county get a lot of money from this unused land, undeveloped land. And I wrote up an argument that says that's not the case at all, using the examples of our, April letter recommending those 6 parcels for potential open space. And looking at those tax numbers, there's very little money comes into the township or the county or the schools from these properties. And the other one was James McCartney was arguing that open space doesn't increase property values, at least the nearby homes. And we have a number of studies we're going to send him that show it does increase property values.
Yeah, Alan actually did a pretty thorough analysis on that, and a lot of it is based on a book. And anybody who is in the meeting tonight, and the EAC actually has a pamphlet holder out in the lobby, and one of the books is called Return on Environment, and it has some really interesting statistics about open space. Yep, that's it. Alan's holding it up right now. And it was, I think, initially prepared by the Delaware Regional Valley Planning Commission.
Yeah.
And it was also subsidized by another group. I would suggest that everyone in the EAC read it, because the statistics in it are just absolutely amazing when they talk about even the financial value of open space. So what the plans are, actually, when we find out when this is going to be on the agenda, so let's say it's assuming it's going to be on the 17th agenda, about 4 or 5 days before the meeting, what we plan on doing is sending out the information sheet that Alan has prepared. And he's prepared that from other sources, as well as the Return on Environment booklet that we just discussed. So once we find out it's on the agenda, we're going to send that information to the board. And I plan on attending the meeting as well, and any other EAC members, certainly, if they want to attend, that would be wonderful. So any other discussions around open space? All right, if not, we will move on. Now, the next item was the heritage tree investigation, and we had a township resident named Michelle Stanbaugh, who has a historic hackberry tree. And I've been trying to get, Alan and I went out, we took a look at the property, the tree, and it's one big hackberry, possibly the second biggest in Bucks County. And our measurements were informal, but what I've been trying to do is get in touch with Big Trees of Pennsylvania to see if the representative would come out and measure the tree. And, I've been trying for several weeks. Finally, the gentleman got back to me and he apologized. Firstly, he said, this is a volunteer position, which I didn't realize. I thought it was a paid position. And secondly, they just had a new child, and if any, I'm sure a lot of us know what having a new child in the household is like. So anyway, I'm going to be getting back to him shortly, and I also have another avenue to explore as far as Big Trees of PA is concerned, and it's a consultant in the forestry division. So I'm going to do a little legwork on that, and I should have something to report during next meeting. Okay, what do we, any comments? Yes, Alan?
Yeah, I have one tree-related item that is not so much heritage tree. It concerns the trees along Mirror Lake Road at Patterson Farm. And I brought this up with you. If you drive by there, you'll see the 30 trees are doing really well. They're healthy, but you'll notice the tree protection that they desperately need at that location only goes up a foot from the ground. And when they were planted, the contract the township had with the company that's putting the trees in specified 4 feet of tree protection. So I was going to send an email to Dave Kratzer and copy Derek Fuller of Public Works, and I'll copy anybody who's interested in it, showing a photo of the trees and how they need additional protection, and they better get it before the fall, or those trees are doomed based on what has happened to other unprotected trees on Patterson Farm. We've seen what happens to those. So I'm going to send it out as an EAC thing, so I hope everybody's okay with that. Get those trees protected, because it'd be a waste of money to not protect them. $14,000.
Yeah, actually, you and I had discussed that, Alan, and it was really an oversight not to put it on the agenda, but I'm glad you brought it up. I think this is very important. Firstly, that planting is essentially an EAC project with a little input from the Board of Supervisors. And I think it's a keystone project. I think in the years to come, that formal alley of trees along Patterson Farm, which we've called Maple Row at Patterson Farm, is literally going to be a township highlight in the fall. And they're really, really doing well because they were planted well and they were watered well initially. And I don't know what happened to the fencing. I think initially there was higher fencing there. But I think that's a very good point, Alan, because the deer, I think they're getting more bold. They're in our backyard now, which is enclosed, and generally they keep out of that. And they've been having a field day munching on some of our plants that they tend to view as candy. So, good point. Why don't you send that out, Alan, and I'll talk to you about, who it should be addressed to. I'm not sure. I don't know whether we should address, I know we should address the township manager and definitely Derek Fuller, but I don't know. What's the group think? Do you think we want to get the Board of Supervisors involved in this as well?
I don't think we should be doing that yet. I think we should talk to the township manager and director of public works first.
All right.
Yeah.
What about other people? What's your input?
I was thinking about just copying Matt Ross, our liaison, and that's it.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Okay, I'll talk to you about that, tomorrow. You could probably get this out in the next day or two, right?
I could get it out in as soon as our meeting ends. It's all ready to go.
All right, well, sign it with your name, my name, for the LMT-EAC. Is that okay?
All right.
And send it to whom?
And send it to Derek Fuller.
I'll I'll copy.
Yeah, Derek,
too.
Matt Ross copy, and as a matter of fact, you did all the legwork for it, so just put your name on it, Alan Dresser for the LMT EAC, and you could say even if you want approved by the LMT EAC, anything like that is fine.
All right.
All right. Again, that was a good catch, Ellen. I kept going by there all the time, and I kept saying, "Oh, how beautiful they are," and they are. They're really, really thriving. But I didn't look at the deer fencing at all. So that's a good point. Thanks for bringing it up. All right, next item, township newsletters. Paul, what do we have going?
Well, I'm just about ready to send out the next issue. I was just working on some format changes and changing a picture. Unfortunately, my kids decided to arrive for Independence Day. It surprised my wife and I.
Oh, wow.
My daughter just moved to Montreal, so she just moved in, and it was a big surprise. She flew down just for the Independence Day weekend, so I got sidetracked. So I apologize. But I hope to get it out by tomorrow.
All right, and what's going to be in this newsletter again?
Oh, we're going to have stuff about the last Falconry exhibit, our work on our plastic bag, single-use ban in the township, and about the possible bond issue for purchasing open space, and also about our other activities that we've been engaged in over the last year.
All right, sounds good, Paul. And I guess
The styrofoam recycling and so on.
So, I have a question. What are you going to say about the the plastics?
Well, that we've been investigating with other townships, municipalities, and trying to push forward an ordinance on it.
Okay.
All right. Well, generally, I think what you do is you send that out to the board first for our approval. And
Yeah.
Sure. All right. That sounds good, Paul. Thank you again. For all your work on that. Now the next item is odds and ends. EAC web page update. Alan and Soumya. I guess Alan and Soumya, you've been doing some work trying to update our website. And talking to Alan about that too, it looked like there were several items that were very, very much out of date, and there's some new items that haven't been placed on the web yet. You have any comments,
No,
Alan, Soumya?
Alan, I think Alan.
Yeah, I haven't been active on that. I guess Alan has done something.
Yeah, it's interesting. Some of the things that were on there a few months ago are now off, like the 2023 year-end review. So I sent that to Katie so it can be put back on. And then a few of the Environmental Stewardship Award write-ups. I sent her the 2023, and I'm going to send her the 2022 for this. And then I'll also send the flyer for the September 28th recycling event. And I also sent a few land use reviews because the ones they had on there were really old. So that's what we've done so far. I haven't checked to see if they're up there, so I should probably do that.
All right. On the website too, don't we have copies of the various ordinances that EAC was instrumental in having adopted? I mean, like the Green Building Code, the Native Plant Ordinance, and items like that?
Yeah, they're on there.
All right, and they're still there?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. What about like the additional ones, like the pervious pavement ordinance and, you know, our tree plan and things like that?
The tree plan, I think pervious pavement is on there. Tree plan, I'm not so sure. There's a tree bank update that's now from like 2019 that should probably be taken off.
Okay.
I'd like to do another tree bank update.
All right,
So
I think that's,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
I'll try to put together another one and send her that.
All right, yeah, because I think that 2024 tree plan, you know, as soon as we get that approved, is really great publicity, not only for the EAC, but for the township, primarily for the township in general, because I don't know of any other municipality anywhere that has an extensive master long-range tree plan like we have here in Lower Makefield Township. So I think we should, you know, publicize that on the website. All right, thanks a lot, Alan. Good work as usual. Any other comments?
Well, you should.
That's odds and ends.
Oh, okay. Well.
All right, that being the case, we'll move over to the next item, which is open discussion. And we do have a township resident here tonight. And if you would like to come up and use one of the microphones, introduce yourself, and discuss what you came here to talk about.
I'm here to listen tonight.
Oh.
All right. Could you tell us your name, please?
My name is Steve.
Steve?
I'm Bucks County.
And you're Bucks County. Do you want to give us your last name or not? Okay.
See, I have to have that in the minutes. Yes.
Okay, it's Steve. What's your last name, please?
Dillplane.
Okay, you got that?
No,
I have it, D-I-L-L-I-P-L-A-N-E.
Okay. A-N-D.
Okay, well, thank you very much for attending tonight, Steve. I hope what you heard was worthwhile. Okay, open. Is there any other items on open discussion that anybody would like to talk about? Oh, wait, I think I have one.
Oh, she has some questions.
I'm sorry. Yes, Dominique.
So what do we do about pen environment, and do we wait till you talk to John Lewis and?
Yes, I think that's the plan. Before we move forward, we have to have the approval of the Board of Supervisors. And one of the things I'm going to mention to John, as I mentioned to him before, is that these are essentially information sessions. So I will be talking to John very shortly, and then I'm not going to wait till the next EAC meeting. when I have the discussion with John and Suzanne and Matt, I will report that, the results of those meetings and conversations to the EAC via email.
Okay.
So there is one other item I wanted to talk about too, and that was there's an EAC fall gathering on October 5th, 2024. It's kind of like a regional meeting, and I think Jeanne has some information on that. So we're going to send that out to all the members. You might have received that before, I'm not sure. Now, the problem is that's the same date as the Falconry Exhibition. And, you know, we need really a lot of help on that, especially, you know, there's a good learning curve as far as that was concerned. And I was the quote-unquote traffic director for that. And I'm not sure I turned in a sterling performance because, firstly, I didn't have the appropriate shirt, which is important, you know, the bright yellow shirt. And technically, I mean, also, cars were coming at me in about 4 or 5 different directions. So anyway, the bottom line is we need a couple of people as far as traffic control is concerned. And when we get closer to the event, you know, we can make some assignments for other EAC members as well. I think last year, in spite of that, it went off very, very well. But I think from a logistics viewpoint, I think we can do a better job the second time around.
But
So,
you're not talking, you're talking about the falconry.
yeah,
Not
that's
the
exactly.
EAC, you jumped.
No, what I'm saying, I'm talking about the EAC assisting in the Falconry Exhibition. So,
We gotta keep those dogs away.
yeah, I mean,
Keeping the dogs away was an important part, too.
yeah, especially little dogs. I mean, if you could think in your mind, the worst scenario available that could unfold is like a falcon, a loose falcon going after one of the residents' dogs. But we won't even talk about that. Okay,
But
so
did anybody else get the notice about the EAC gathering? It's, so I guess.
Yeah, I got
You
one.
did it? Oh,
Yeah, because
oh.
I've been to a couple of the ones in the past.
And they're worthwhile.
Yes,
don't
they
you
are.
think? Yeah,
Because you have people from all over the state, which is really special.
right, right.
We learn from each other at those events and where they get funding from and some of the joint projects they've done in terms of research and data gathering to prove, you know, everything we've been saying, you know, the return on the environment, you know, the economic measures. They've been really doing some really unique stuff all over the state.
Right.
Very innovative. It's really special.
And
Well,
where is it? What is it?
They move it around in different parts of the state, so people don't have to travel as far.
It's an Ambler, I think, this one.
Okay.
But it's, it would be very good, I think, for somebody to go.
Yeah, at least
Because,
one person I think we
Yeah.
could possibly spare.
Right. And as we said, the problem is that we have an event, but
Yeah.
maybe somebody, I'll send it out to everybody.
Yeah.
also, this is not a new concept. I would say going back about 15 years ago, the riverine communities like Solbury, Upper Makefield, Lower Makefield, Doylestown, we had a consortium and we would meet a couple of times a year, and the venue moved around. We held it here at Lower Makefield Township, you know, several times. And for some reason, after a while, people started losing interest, and I remember trying to get people involved in it to resurrect it again, and it didn't seem to work out too well. So maybe this is another attempt to do something like that. And it was really worthwhile because the host, who was, you know, holding the meeting, it was up to them to formally present 1 or 2 projects that they were very proud of or that they were working on currently. So maybe we can get this working again because it really is worthwhile.
Yeah, we did that with Morrisville, I think we did once. with the movie about fracking. And also, we did another one with the Newtown Township. I remember Steve Sanacera was also there and spoke.
Right.
And there was another one in Middletown Township, which they actually had at Penwood Village, where they showed the same film again on fracking that Steve spoke at.
All right, good point.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's the last item on the agenda, and this is good. We finished 7:01, I think.
You know, we got started late.
Yeah,
We're doing well.
Well, actually, I like my watch better. It says
Is that
6:58.
Alan has something to say.
Could I make
Yes.
one quick comment?
Sure.
Kevin, I liked your observation on how the water and sewer bills are not based on usage, but just based on this flat rate they charge everybody for who knows what. PECO doesn't do that, but they do. So good luck. I hope you get a good response from the utilities and our state representatives.
Yeah, I mean, PECO I think does have a customer charge, but it's mostly usage based.
lower.
Yeah, it's more reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of having things usage based primarily because that's the way to emphasize conservation.
Yeah, well,
So,
good luck. I hope you make progress.
I doubt it, but I'm gonna try.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Alan. Unless we have any other comments, the meeting will be officially ended, and I like my watch better at 6:59 rather than the watch, the clock that says 7:01. So next meeting, I think, is on August, I forget the date, but anyway, thank you all for attending tonight, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.